Hello and welcome to MotorInc First. My first question to Shumi is, did you go get some coffee? No? Did you race around?
I think the last time we spoke about coffee on MotorInc First was in the context of some Tata car which had a missing cup holder or two. And what were you told? It's a very critical thing for this episode.
Coffee culture is not great in India.
Today we are going to talk about the new Thruxton 400, the Cafe Racer.
So how many cafes have you got to? How much racing have
The
you done?
MotorInc office has excellent coffee. My house is pretty decent coffee. I think I'm good.
Okay. I want to take a guess about the Thruxton 400. Is it just the Thruxton 400? No R1?
Triumph Thruxton 400.
That's it. Okay. Does it have a heavier crank than the Speed 400? Same, not from the other configuration. No. Revs more? Suspensions firmer? Has fairing. Clip-ons? Okay. Wheels are the same. Yeah, okay, done. Tell me.
It's a nice bike.
Oh,
But I just quickly wanted to get through the Scrambler 400 XC 2 minutes and come back to the Thruxton. So in the meantime, I had a chance to ride it. It has tubeless wheels now, so spokes, and there's a price delta to it. It's 5 kilos heavier in the process, etc., etc. And I was genuinely shocked at how much I enjoyed riding that motorcycle. To the point where I called Bajaj and said, has suspension been changed? Why is this bike feeling so supple and so elegant? And then I was told, it's exactly the same as the Scrambler. I don't know what you're saying. Then I remembered I really did like the Scrambler.
yeah.
I really did enjoy the Scrambler 400 XC too. Is there any reason on earth I can think that you should be upgrading to the XC? No.
But it
For
feels,
what?
it
Yeah.
feels a bit different.
For what the bike does, the Scrambler 400 does exactly what it needs to do as a Scrambler. To me, it remains still the benchmark Scrambler on the Indian market. The XC adds more equipment in a direction that the bike can't really exploit. So visually, does it look better? Yeah, sure, why not? Is there any reason I can think of that you should be considering the XC over the X? I think every single buck you spend extra, visually it might bring you something. Functionally, it does absolutely nothing.
You said that the additional cost was a big stumbling block, right?
Additional cost is a stumbling block, but even more than that, it buys you nothing.
Was it like tens of thousands?
Yeah. No, the big number is actually if you have a Scrambler 400X and you wanted to go and buy these tubeless spoke wheels and add them back, then it's 70,000. 70,000 on a 3 lakh rupee motorcycle makes no sense to me.
Yeah, correct.
So, baseline, the Scrambler 400 is a very, very nice motorcycle. The XC has all of that niceness, but it has spoked wheels, which are harder to clean, but they're tubeless, they're easy to live with. Is there any functional advantage to it? I can't see it. Now, back to the Thruxton.
All right, so go. Very nice bike, you said.
Yeah, so the Thruxton is very closely related to the first Speed 400, not the current Speed 400, because Bajaj has made small tweaks in the annual changeover. Okay, the source of those changes, just to skip through it because it's not relevant to the story directly, is they wanted it to feel a little bit larger, so the tire sizes changed a little bit, the suspension changed a little bit, the rake and trail changed a little bit. So the Thruxton 400 is based on the previous Speed 400, not the current one.
Sorry, what?
So the issue with the Speed 400 was a lot of the sales challenges came from the fact that the bike just felt too compact and too small. So you'd have a sense of, oh, so easy to ride, so smooth at low revs at least, such nice supple suspension, but it's so small. And a lot of people were like, well, it's too small.
So they changed the rake and trail.
So they basically, see, look, they can't reinvent the platform. So they did the small tweaks like change the tire profile slightly, change the rake and trail slightly to accommodate the changes of tire profile so that the bike felt more or less the same, but felt a little more substantial to ride. I haven't tested this motorcycle, so I don't know whether the changes functionally change how the motorcycle feels or not.
I'm just laughing because I'm thinking you're calling these small changes only because it's Bajaj. Imagine if the Japanese did it, it would be like a reinvented bike.
The Japanese would not be able to do it on a 1 year timeline at all.
Exactly.
If a Japanese bike were to come with a 120/70 tire, and the correct way to do this according to them was a 120/80 tire, that would take 3-4 years to deploy.
Oh my God, this is really such a Bajaj thing. Nice.
Yeah. And as we said in the context of the 390 adventure also, Sometimes maybe they're doing too much and maybe they need to take a deep breath. But as far as I can tell, this is mostly a Triumph process with Bajaj Execute. So it's not Bajaj
Oh
at
yeah, correct.
this is not Bajaj at the forefront of saying, dude, we can change this and we can say. So the T4, as far as I can tell, was something Bajaj wanted to make. And they were allowed to make it, as it were. And to me, it turns out to be a more interesting motorcycle to ride than the Speed 400. But it has no relationship to the Thruxton at all. So the Thruxton 400 is a cafe racer. The first thing you should know about a cafe racer is therefore its sales volumes maximum potential is severely limited. Not that it's a bad cafe racer, but cafe racers as a format, which we'll discuss last, are a very difficult kind of format to live with, especially in a place like ours. Visually, it's a very pretty motorcycle. You will obviously see this rounded fairing. He's seen the motorcycle because it's parked right outside that door. So you've seen that rounded thing. You know, the interesting thing, the brace on which this fairing is mounted is not metal.
Oh,
It's glass-filled nylon. It's GFN. You know where we first heard of GFN? Bajaj actually did use GFN on the N250 also, which we didn't discuss in detail. But the new Monster, when it came out, the new generation, the one that was the least monster, the entire rear subframe is constructed from glass-filled nylon. So it's a structural plastic. And the first thing when I saw it, I felt kind of happy because one way to ruin a motorcycle is to put a lot of metal there far away from the center of gravity, suspended out into, etc. Not an issue. So it is a good looking motorcycle. As soon as you notice the fairing, you should also notice the headlight. The Triumph headlight was never very good. This is that headlight. So this cafe racer will not illuminate your way in the night very well. But visually, it looks very pretty. The tank is still 13 liters, as all the Triumphs have in India, but it is a completely reshaped tank to make the idea of the cafe racer come together. So it feels a little bit longer, it feels narrower, and the Monza style cap, etc., has been done so that it looks like that. The subframe, which is the back part of the motorcycle, has the same load rating, but that is also brand new, so that it could be narrower, so that it could be shaped to a more appropriate look for the cafe racer also.
wow, this is a lot more work than I thought
So
they would be doing.
they've done quite a bit of work, and we are still just talking the aesthetics, right? So the seat itself, there's a completely different shape. I'm not a fan of this seat because it's a sloped seat again, as it needs to be for a cafe racer, but that also has comfort issues. We'll come to that. On the rear part of the seat, as standard, is a cowl, but the cowl just doesn't slide on and clip into place. There are two Allen keys that hold it together. So you will undo the Allen keys, remove the cowl, and then you have a two-seater. Neatly done, no stress. Under this level of the motorcycle, if you see the side panels, they are also completely new. And now we can come to the mechanicals.
Before we go, when you remove the cowl, how is the seat like?
It's a proper seat.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have a cafe racer and you want to take a pillion with you and you're deciding to do this very often or over longer distances, your pillion's not going to be a friend for very long. So I'm not going into too seriously about the pillion. Is it a two-seater? Yes. Is this going to be a
Because
comfortable?
you said the rear subframe has also been narrowed. So
Yeah, so if you're going to think of this as a comfortable two-seater, you're barking up the wrong tree. Cafe racers do not do these things.
you can carry a pillion.
Right? Now, mechanical changes, let's go to the chassis first. These are the same wheels more or less as the Speed 400, which also means that when it is exported, it gets a slightly different wheel spec, which looks exactly the same. India has always received a slightly heavier, slightly stronger alloy wheel, on which you have the same tires that the original Speed 400 came with. The current one has slightly higher profiles to make it look a little larger. Same discs, traction control, ABS, all remains in the same place. Your handlebar is now a clip-on, so it's a completely new triple clamp on top with a clip-on set. Your foot pegs are slightly further back, etc. But it is not the most outrageously committed cafe racer on the market. A lot of references were made to the riding position of the R15, and you should think of this motorcycle as more comfortable than both an R15 and a Continental GT650, but it is still a committed riding position.
I was just going to say that the R15 is
No, it's not easy.
not committed.
No. So this is a reasonably committed motorcycle. I think they've been very clever about how low to put the clip-ons, how long to make the tank, and how far back to put your feet. Because I rode this motorcycle, I'm going to say 140 kilometers, and I didn't ever feel like this was an untenably uncomfortable, sporty riding position. It was just sporty enough. So not an RS200 by any stretch of the imagination where you're more or less upright, no.
Yeah.
Cafe racer style, and it has that visual sense of the meters are very far away from you and below and all of that. You'll see it in the action cam footage also, but not stupidly committed, so you can live with this motorcycle a bit. Your primary discomfort will come from the seat because it slopes forward. So you keep sliding down into the tank and you don't have a choice about it. So will you get used to your legs being folded up? Yes, I think so. Will you get used to carrying some amount of weight on your wrists? Yes, it's not too much weight being carried on the wrists constantly, but you'll keep sliding forward, and therefore the position that you're happy about, you won't be able to retain it if it's not right at the tank. Okay, in the process, they've gone back to the original rake and trail combination also, so it's a little bit sharper than the current Speed 400. The trail is a little bit less. The rake is 0.6 degrees less. This motorcycle is 183 kilos, which makes it a little bit heavier than the Speed 400, but it is still lighter than both the Scrambler and the Scrambler XC. In the process, seat height is lowest. So this is the lowest Triumph 400 there is right now, under 800 millimeters. In the process, some amount of ground clearance has also been lost. Now to the engine, as you said, the revs have gone up. This bike revs 1000 RPM extra. They've got a new cam that allows the motorcycle to make roughly 2 PS more. This is not necessarily a good thing, but we'll come to it. This means 0 to 100, Bajaj says the bike is as much as a second faster. And 0 to 60, it's 0.2 or 0.3 seconds faster. Okay, so it's a little bit quicker, it has a little bit performance. Why? Because the old bike's top speed was 145, 7 something. This bike, since it's a cafe racer, must have 160 kilometers an hour because that is the 100 mile an hour ton zone. So the vibration issues have gotten worse, but we'll come to that also, because I still think this is a really nice bike. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is a really nice bike has to be qualified by context. Why are you smiling? No, tell me why you're smiling. Tell me why you're smiling.
Really nice, and nice always becomes that like
Okay,
that. Right?
okay, sorry, let me change the word. This is a really pleasant motorcycle to ride, and I really enjoyed riding it. But this saying that statement has a box in which this
Exactly.
context goes and fits. Okay, let me explain the context. When you take a sports bike, you're not really expecting comfort. So when you ride an R3, you're going to be surprised by how comfortable the R3 can be. It's not that the R3 is outrageously comfortable, it's the fact that a sports bike takes away that set of, oh, it must be comfortable. No, it's not. And therefore, when you ride a hardcore off-road motorcycle where you say, oh, 300 mm of suspension, and then you come away saying, my God, so much feedback. It's also a disconnect because you're saying it has so much suspension, it should be comfortable, but that's performance suspension. Its job is to get you through difficult terrain, not to make you comfortable. In that box, cafe racers have zero comfort expectations. That's not what they do. And from that perspective, this is a very well set up cafe racer because the suspension is stiffer than a Speed 400. When I came into Mumbai, I realized how much stiffer it has become because concrete is basically a lot of small bumps. And that's where the motorcycle starts to get upset. And then one stretch had construction happening where there was a culvert and the top of the culvert was broken. And I had to take this at really low speeds because there was traffic all around me. It took the sting out of the situation, but I felt everything. And to me, as cafe racers go, this is a good place to be. Am I calling this a comfortable motorcycle? No, I'm saying as cafe racers go, it works really well. Okay. Similarly, this engine, I thoroughly enjoyed riding down the highway because the highway was busy and the highest cruising speed I could achieve was just about 100.
Okay.
Right? When you're able to get to 100 but stay in, say, fifth gear, one gear lower, or fourth gear if you can stretch it, and then you go past the 6,500 RPM, the vibration now is even stronger. That sense of refinement is going away from you is even stronger. You can go there and there's a lot of thrust there, but it's not as smooth and nice as the bottom of this motorcycle. So once I was done with that initial phase of trying to suss out what is this bike up to and how has this new cam and the new RPM limit changed it, as soon as I got past that, and stayed in the sweet spot, which is not a small sweet spot, right? Because you're saying 0 to, I'm saying 110. In that zone, it has more torque than a Speed 400. The cam gives it the peak torque is the same, but the continuous flow of torque is a little bit higher. And it peaks at a much higher place where the vibration is. So if you stay out of all of that, this is a very easy and smooth motorcycle to ride.
Okay.
Now, again, as a cafe racer, you are imagining like fast. But think of cafe racers as a very old sports bike, and then you'll get the right idea of it. Right? A very old sports bike could max out its performance and not achieve a lot. Today's sports bike achieve a lot. And from that context, if you just take it easy, and easy is not slow, if you just take it easy, the Thruxton clicks into place and you're like, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. So, will you make quick overtakes? Yes. Will you cruise happily at 80, 90, 100? Yes. As long as you don't push the pace, so you stay at 70-80% of max performance, this is a really happy, pleasant, sweet cafe racer.
Okay.
In the cafe racer box. If you were to do public roads in exactly the same way, riding a Scrambler 400, for example, you'd just have a better time on every front. On a Scrambler, you'd see more because you sit taller. It would absorb more because it's got more suspension. It's got the same engine and the same kind of flow of torque, etc., etc., etc. But as soon as you say cafe racer, the Thruxton is a good cafe racer.
Okay.
Have I cleaned
Yeah.
up the image for you?
Yeah.
Brakes, reasonably sharp, no issues anywhere. Traction control, still heavy-handed and still slightly crude. So most interventions you may not notice. A big intervention, like you come off a speed breaker and you're on the throttle a little bit too much, it's a little bit of like an interruption of the experience. It's always been like that. I wish they had updated the LCD on the instruments. It's always been the least down-market looking part of the visual appeal of this bike. Still remains, and the USB port had to be relocated because now there is a fairing on all sides of this meter, so obviously it cannot be there anymore. So now it's on the ignition block, it's in front of it, so it's a little bit hard to locate the first time. Once you know it's there, it's there. Mirrors are bar end mirrors. These are not the greatest bar end mirrors, and they're not in the greatest of positions for visibility because they're at the end of a clip-on. So you sort of have to peer into them to see what's happening behind. I got used to it. I don't think it's a stress point. I think it's also part of this format and how it works, unless a cafe racer comes with the mirrors mounted to the top of the fairing. So overall, I'm really happy to have ridden this motorcycle. Now I think the T4 is a good motorcycle, severely underrated. The Scrambler 400 remains my favorite Triumph to buy. If you were trying to buy a Thruxton because you like cafe racers, absolutely go ahead. I see no reason why you shouldn't. If you're not into cafe racers though, and you do not understand that format is, please do not buy yourself a Thruxton just because it looks good. Cafe racers look good, but that causes a lot of comfort issues which will accrue to you in time.
Okay. Where does it fit in terms of price?
It's the top motorcycle, 2.7 lakhs.
2.7.
2.75, let's call
So
it.
it's speed 400?
Speed
So
4.
it's T4, speed 400?
So T4 is the bottom.
Yeah.
Then comes the Speed 400.
Okay. Okay. So when you're talking about vibrations at the higher rev range, what put that
6.5, same as before.
above 6.5?
Yeah.
Do you get anything from the fairing at all, or
No.
is that clean?
No, it's clean.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's clean. It's just that the engine feels like now I'm going to give you 42 bhp, but God bless you, I'm not going to give it to you happily.
Huh. Yeah, I know.
I think it's the same mood as when the British were leaving India. Is that too on the nose? No, okay, look, I don't want to make jokes about these weird controversial things. I'm saying the Speed 400's issue is if you're a peaceful rider, it's a very nice motorcycle. And then you're now and then delving into the higher revs to say, I bought a 40 bhp motorcycle. And for most owners who do that, you're going to be okay. The Thruxton is the same, except that it's supposed to be like a retro version of a performance motorcycle. So you might be more likely to go there. When you go there, it has the performance, but it doesn't have the refinement.
Right.
If you're okay with it, I'm okay with it.
If it's like, think about it like this, that if you wanted a cafe racer, and cafe racers are typically old bikes, and then you'll have to think about maintenance and who's going to take care of that and all of that jazz. This is the same thing without the hassle, because the mindset required to ride it is the same, that it's an old bike, so you're not going to thrash it all the time, because the 6,500
So
RPM
genuine.
thing. Huh?
This is so genuine.
Yeah, it's like a retro piece, but with the modern day convenience of it being reliable and being able to service it wherever and all of that. And the other thing that I was thinking about was the reason why I said heavy crank was, I remember when the Thruxton 900 came, and I was so surprised that when I rode it, it was so torquey. They had actually gone heavier on the crank compared to what was the other Chota Street Twin or something after that.
I think the Speed Twin or something like that.
Whatever it was, I remember that it was so torquey. And in that also you could rev it up, but that was not its happy place, as it were.
Yeah.
So that retro mood, I think, is something that they maintain with the Thruxtons without it getting sporty that way.
Yeah.
So sorry, I'm stuck on one more thing. So they continue to make two different frames for this family?
Subframes.
No, because you said the rake of one is
That's a minor adjustment. It's not
So
really
they are
causing
doing
a brand new frame. Yeah. But look, remember that Triumph is coming from a place where globally they make lots of units but lots of kinds of units is how they see production. Bajaj has given them the ability to say, hey, listen, we can do small tweaks and make these platforms work with each other. So relative to Triumph, this is a small change to achieve a whole new model, which is not untrue to its purpose. It's not like they're slapping on plastics. It's not like a CB350 Highness, where Honda basically makes them in 3-4 shapes now, gives them 3-4 badges now. But fundamentally, what has changed
They're
between the
same.
motorcycles? Not much.
Okay, and one more thing. Tires, same?
Same. We saw
Same pattern?
we saw two sets of tires. Some had Apollo H1s and some had the MRF steel brace, which is I think the ad that you see in the middle of MotoGP nowadays. So they said they benchmark to each other so that the performance will be similar. But basically, it's a supply chain management thing. And this bike will either come with Apollo H1s or the steel brace.
And these were the ones that were available on the Speed 400 as well. I mean,
The Speed 400 had come out only with the H1s. I believe now, again, these two tires go on the set, but I will have to check the exact whether the steel brace is also an OEM tire for the Speed 400 or not.
okay, cool. So vibration is not an issue. The reason I asked was
No, vibration is an issue.
no, the fairing, because that becomes like,
No, it doesn't rattle or anything, no.
because like when you have this kind of stuff and the fairing is sitting at an extremity, that vibration
Can amplify
oh
there.
my God,
Yeah,
that can
no.
feel terrible.
I don't know how it will age. I think Triumphs are well made, but they are made well in the sense of appearing to be very, very well made rather than very high quality. And which is a very clever thing, and it is a Bajaj strength, right? So they have been able to exploit this. Will this mean that in 30,000 kilometers of being bashed on our roads, that fairing will not rattle? I don't know. But it felt solid, so I have no issues with it.
Nice. Interesting. Okay. I don't really have any more questions about this.
I thought you would not, yeah.
Yeah.
No, so the only real deep question to answer here is what is this cafe racer thing and should you be interested in the cafe racer? Look, if you want to look at your motorcycles a lot more than you want to ride your motorcycles, then formats like cafe racers do make sense. Because cafe racing did evolve from a specific kind of motorcycle. It wanted to do a specific kind of purpose, and in the middle of which, by accident, by evolution, whatever you want to call it, we got a very proportionate kind of motorcycle. They really are good looking as motorcycles go. Right? So if you look at the Continental GT, you look at the Thruxton 400, you look at the actual old cafe racers, whether that's the Norton Manx or whatever, they are genuinely proportionate, good-looking, attractive motorcycles. But if you think of them as old sports bikes, you suddenly realize that the performance orientation that this design was born from continues to have the comfort challenges that those guys accepted as normal. And if you don't accept it as normal, then a cafe racer will prevent you from riding your motorcycle a lot.
You know what? I was thinking while you were saying all this, I was just thinking about the Triumph Bobber. The
Yep.
right? Like that is such an obtuse motorcycle.
Yeah.
Like I cannot think of it being practical for anybody.
Right.
But it is such a mood. Like I remember the first time I rode it. It was in the evening. I rode from Baner to Pashan Road. And I got there. It had not been comfortable. The suspension was bumpy. The bike was loud. But when I stopped, I was laughing. I was just like, it's a mood, right?
Yeah.
And the Thruxton, in that sense, any cafe racer is also a mood,
Yeah.
which is
I always want to be careful about mood motorcycles because having the mood on the test ride and living with the motorcycle are not on the same continuum unless you are clear about it.
correct. That's exactly what
That's
I'm
it.
saying. Which is why the Bobber for me is such a great example because it is 100%. If you tell me right now, would you want a Bobber as the only bike in my garage? No way, right? As a third bike in my garage.
No way.
No, I would love to have it. It's completely mad. I mean, it's so wild that it makes me feel like a different person, and that's an extreme motorcycle, which the Thruxton will do for some people, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying
Because of the
be
mood.
cautious with this purchase.
Yeah.
Because it has lots of appeal points and cafe racers always had.
So I think what I will translate that is what he's trying to say. What Shumi's trying to say here is that you'll feel that tug about this bike feeling special on a short ride. But keep in mind that the practicality trade-offs that will come with it, which when you live with it, will hurt more and for longer if you aren't prepared for it, if you aren't clear about that. So that's the main thing that I think he's trying to say and I'm trying to say in different aspects of it. And as a primary motorcycle, when I think about it, the Thruxton, it will feel like I would think like you said, right, that the Scrambler, Scrambler, is something I'd enjoy a lot more every day.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? And this is more about it feeling special at times.
Yeah, बुलाती है जाने का नहीं.
I don't know what that means, but
It's a euphemism for it's very attractive, but maybe you don't want that in your life. So I'm very clear about this. If I had all the money in the world, formats like Bobber's Cafe Racers, visually so amazing, these would be the last purchases I would make. Because as useful motorcycles go, these are not designed to be useful. What they do is something else. And what that fundamentally means is, if you look at your motorcycles a lot more than you want to do stuff with your motorcycles, then these attractive formats start to really work for you. And I'm not talking to you three hardcore guys out there who are out touring on your Continental GT650s. That's not the issue here. The issue is, I don't want anybody to get misled into that is the normal. It may be your normal, but that is not the normal. There were people in the Ladakh area on R15s. They did have good rides and they did make memories. Absolutely. But the guys who were on more upright motorcycles, from the same stable, let's call it the MT15, although the Dukes were more common, they had an easier time of it and they had a different, less challenging experience of it. This is just a flavor thing. If cafe racers aren't your flavor, whether this motorcycle is good looking or not should not make any difference to you. And if cafe racers are your flavor, I'd be surprised if you can do better than the Thruxton in terms of a motorcycle that does most of the things you do daily with your motorcycle.
Cool. All right. Short summary for the short review.
No, the quick summary of this is, if you're interested in a cafe racer in India today, I don't think you should make a purchase decision without trying out the Thruxton 400. But if you want to be outside riding,
One second. What are the cafe racers?
Continental GT650 is there.
And?
Oh, Honda doesn't make one because Royal Enfield doesn't make a cafe racer in the 350cc class. Otherwise, there'd be a CB350 CR or something.
Who else?
Hey, do you think the CRF300, the CR stands for cafe racer?
I don't think so.
Okay, me too.
Which are the cafe racers there, man? You got me at that.
There is a reason why the cafe racer numbers are
Does
useless.
Java do a cafe racer?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
No, so that's it. 2 bikes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're considering a cafe racer today, for what it's worth, this is the better one, I think. Does
Really?
does the GT's twin give it more feel? Yes. Does it give it more of a aesthetic presence because it's a larger engine? Yes. But this is the motorcycle that's easier to ride, so you'll do more with the Thruxton 400.
That sound also, my God. I love the sound of that.
This is not a bad sounding motorcycle. I think the trick that they've missed is that the Scrambler 400's twin exhaust actually sounds better than this single out.
Oh.
So if you were to swap it, and I believe they are swappable, if you were to swap it, the sound would improve, but the visuals would go one step back. So trade-off.
Oh,
Personally, I'd never spend money on an exhaust at all.
That's an interesting takeaway. I would have thought that the
No, so that they said when the Speed 400 also came, that the Speed 400 exhaust you could swap to the Scramblers and it would improve the sound.
No, I was thinking about what you said between the Thruxton 400 and the GT650.
I've ridden the GT650 for testing and the FAQs, and you can see those on the app if you like. I struggled with that motorcycle because I had to put those kilometers on it, and it's not comfortable at all.
Is this again the ergonomics or the suspension?
Ergonomic, suspension, weight.
It's more committed.
Yeah.
The weight is, of course, is a thing with that engine. Okay.
So, is it not a special motorcycle to look at? Sure.
So this is
But
kind
I
of...
don't want to commute 54 kilometers every day on a Continental GT650.
So the Thruxton 400 is kind of in ergonomics?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a big difference then.
Yeah.
Okay. So that definitely makes it easier for more people.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Clear for me. What's next?
The RTR 310, we are waiting for it to come. We have an invite from Hero for something. I'm not sure what. I believe the Duke 160 has just been announced or unveiled or launched or whatever just now, so we're going to get to ride that.
Wow.
Then the SMCR is still pending, which was also supposed to be an August motorcycle, and we'll see how August plays out.
SMCR has been launched?
No. Globally, there are a few motorcycles around and a few stories have started. India launch is pending, and there is a difference in spec because I think we get alloy wheels and they get tubed wheels.
And are Bajaj going to send the global spec Enduro R for a test as well?
Honestly, we haven't asked because this has been a really busy month, so we'll see. Honestly, we don't know.
All right, cool. So lots of action. Nice.
Yeah, I believe the Adventure R should also be here, the international spec, by the end of this year. Enduro R is already on sale. They've started deliveries. I do not believe that there are test bikes yet, or is there a plan to do a test bike, or etc. I do not know.
How is this?
Yeah. Royal Enfield, the Scram 440 test bike is still on the way here. It should be. I mean, they're saying it's a logistics thing. It's on the way.
Okay.
So I don't have exact date, but that's also supposed to be end of August. Himalayan 650, etc. No news yet. TVS we've already discussed.
Himalayan 650 or 750? I keep getting confused. What is it supposed to be?
750.
Oh, okay.
Scram 440 is
No,
the bike
you
that's
said
on
Himalayan
the...
650, which is
Oh, sorry, 750. My mistake.
okay.
And yeah,
All right. Wow. Lots of action. Nice. Good fun.
I think it's like a cycle. First, the bike guys take 3 weeks and do everything, and then I go silent. Then Kartikeya has 3 weeks of lots of work with
Chillin'.
cars, and then silence.
Yeah. Time to take it easy.
Yeah. So I'm surprised that I enjoyed the Cafe Racer so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I really enjoyed riding it. Until I came into Mumbai, and that's the one thing I forgot to tell you. The preload is set to softest. And I don't have a clear answer why. But when the Royal Enfield set the preload to softest, it basically meant that, ooh, right? And this bike is also designed for like a 65, 70 kilo rider. So remember, I'm in gear, let's add 10 kilos to that, which means if you're not 70 kilos, your experience of how stiff this motorcycle will change, and it might be quite a bit more stiff than you expect. And there is no way to adjust the suspension down to accommodate that.
I cheated, which is why I said the suspension is stiffer. I had gone and given the bike a push and it felt stiffer for
Yeah,
sure.
what is basically happening is I think they set it 3-4 notches up and send it to Europe, where the roads are better. So a stiffer suspension doesn't immediately get in their way. And for India, instead of retuning suspension, which is expensive, they've just basically lowered the preload.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up then.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the Triumph Thruxton 400. A very nice motorcycle that's also pleasant. If you have any more questions about it, do let us know in the comments. The comments, of course, we'll answer to you on YouTube, on the app, and wherever else. But the priority will be on the app because that's where we can have longer conversations and connect things better. So look forward to seeing you on the app. And if you aren't on the app, just remember that the app is free to download. The sign up is free, and you get a lot of content there earlier. And you can get that for free as well. Thank you so much for watching.